Welcome back to the channel, guys, where I work with wood, or not really yet, just because the first thing I have to do is actually set up the workspace down here in the basement, because right now it's pretty dirty. We have a living area down here, which I'm going to move over a little bit and actually curtain out a section for the actual workspace. So when you walk down to the basement, you first come inside to these storage shelves that I built. And this is the actual look of everything that I have to work with. Right now over here in the corner we have that living space, but the plan is to take it from here and move it over here, and to take all this new equipment, which I've spent months saving up for and got as Christmas gifts, and move it over to the left side over here. Right now all I've had to work with is just this table that was already here, but down at the bottom the legs are rotting and it kind of just is unorganized and things like that. So the goal of this video is pretty much to redo the whole basement. Before I get started with the move, I needed some professional advice, and that's where Erin comes in. She's my girlfriend, and with many hours in The Sims, she is much better with home design than I am. And I'm going to give a pro tip to all men out there. Always consult your girlfriend before moving stuff around. You never want to be in a situation where you have to move everything twice. Alright, so I just finished moving everything from over there in that corner to this corner, so it's all out of the way, but it's getting pretty late now, so I'm gonna wrap things up today and get started on the actual shop tomorrow. Alright, day two. I've officially moved all of the living room stuff over to this half of the basement, so now I can pretty much focus on getting the actual shop set up, which includes moving the lighting over here so I have better lighting to work with, getting everything separated out, unboxing some of the stuff that I've been waiting for a while. So let's get started. First step's going to be installing a power strip into the ceiling, and I know the ceiling's a weird spot to do this, but there's actually no outlets on the walls here in the basement. And you're probably wondering what that one plug is plugged into, and that's actually the fridge on the first floor, so I don't know what these builders thought, but I guess they went with the why make it easy when you can make it hard motto. Next up's going to be setting up the shop lights. I managed to snag these from Lowe's and they were very cheap. They're rated for 7,000 lumens, so they really should be able to light up the entire basement. And since the basement's so low, I didn't need anything super bright that was going to be in my eyes. But pro tip, make sure that it is plugged in whenever you try to turn it on. And a second pro tip, don't look at the light when you turn it on. I cleaned my eyes after staring into the sun and managed to get up the second shop light, and as you would have guessed, this one went much smoother, with lessons being very much learned. Next up is the air filtration system. I got this 3-speed remote control one from Wen, but why do I need one for the shop? The problem is that woodworking creates a lot of dust. Small little bits of wood that are scraped away by the saw that can range from large chunks down to small particles barely 10 microns long. That's smaller than human hair, and trust me, I know how small hair can be. Anyways, this means there are particles of wood that are floating throughout the air invisible to the eye. This can really mess up your lungs if you're constantly breathing in wood. Now, I've been dealing with asthma my whole life and already suck at breathing. But I'm super competitive, and I refuse to let asthma be the one to take me down. So this air filtration system's pretty important. According to Wen, this unit can filter a 400 square foot room 7 times an hour. That's twice my shop size, so that should be good. It has an outer filter that can catch dust around 5 microns, while the inner filter can catch down to even 1 micron. As I set up the unit, let me talk about why I'm placing it here with this floor plan I made of the shop. You see, with any type of air filtration, you want the air to circulate around the space so that it can fully clean the air.
You don't want to place it in an area that won't have good circulation. You want it to flow in a circle around the shop so that all the dust particles travel through the filters. For my shop, I decided to set my unit here. It's on the side and positioned so that it will circulate clockwise around the shop. Now that the air filtration is set up, I need to actually separate my shop from the rest of the basement. And I'm going to do that by putting up some shower curtains here. It'll help limit the dust from going over to that living area. But you might be wondering, why shower curtains? Well, for one, it works so well because it's pretty short here in the basement, and I only have 6 feet to work with. I know, you must have thought I was incredibly tall, but really I'm just 5'8". I'm still wondering what the weather is like up there too. Also, I went with the curtains because they're cheap. A running theme on this channel is going to be going cheap where I can, just so I can save the money for where it's really needed. Like this. A table saw. This was the one tool that I saved up most for. Many consider it to be the center point of a shop, and in my case, I'd probably agree. I mean, look at me, I'm way too excited about this thing. The table saw is such a versatile tool and can be used to make so many different cuts to the point where it's vital to have in a workshop. This table saw is from Skill, and it's geared more for beginners. It has a 15 amp motor that's going to be able to rip through almost anything I throw at it. And it comes with a 10-inch blade with a 25.5-inch rip capacity. I'll go over what a lot of that stuff means in a future video. I pulled out the manual and attempted to put this thing together, but as you can see, I had some trouble. So I decided to go with old reliable, YouTube. What I'm installing now is the kickback protection and blade guard. Kickback can occur whenever the blade grabs the wood and launches it back at you. It does this whenever the wood comes in contact with the rising teeth in the back part of the saw. This can be pretty dangerous if you don't own a saw stop, so it's important to get this on there. This is the table fence. This is what I slide the wood against to stay parallel to the blade. Now that it's set up, it's actually time to test this thing out. Make sure you're wearing ear protection when you turn it on. Now that I've set up the table saw, I'm actually ready to start working with wood. Well, cautiously. Anyway, let's take a look at the shop now.
So now that we've got all of that done, pretty much my next plan is gonna be that over there. That is just so unorganized, not really put together at all. I wanna actually renovate that workbench and get everything looking neat and tidy over there. So I'll catch you guys next time when I work with wood.